There's a special place that I like to go. Nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread, that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line, line. Precept on precept, line upon line, line. I can't keep explaining, can't study for you.
Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Yes. Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. And we are back with two of the original crew. It's been about more than that, almost over 3 months. So we have, none other than
Captain Matt,
Officer Micah,
Officer Solomon.
So we are Precept Upon Precept, and like we always do, it's been over 3 months. We're going back to Officer Micah and the Watchman Report. Take it away.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ. Blessed, glad to be back. Want to give a shout out to Officer Benjamin, love the brother, IUIC Suriname, who did not get Captain Matthew Piranha. I told him I was going to do that. I love you, brother, but make sure Cap gets the Piranha. All right, let's get right to it. Transgender inmate sues over Trump's order curtailing trans rights. Pretty much what he's saying, if you're a man, you're going to man jail. If you are a woman, you're going to woman jail. Hey, he signed the order. Next article, please. Trump signs executive order proclaiming there are only 2 biological sexes, halting diversity programs. He is not playing. Get mad. Hey, Trump tells Putin to end ridiculous war in Ukraine or face new sanctions. He know he did the hand signs. He hit him with the hands. More than 230,000 displaced DRC since start of the year. UN said, hey, this is a lot going on in East Africa. There's a lot going on. Al Jazeera, this is our people are getting tore up over there looking for cobalt. It's getting bad over there. So keep them in prayer. Firefighters battle huge blaze near Los Angeles as winds pick up. Pray for our people out there as well in the Los Angeles area. Next article. UN chief warns gangs could overrun Haiti's capital without additional support. So keep our brothers and sisters in prayer as we, as Haiti, they going through it as well. Trump steps up immigration crackdown, warns city-state officials against interference. This is heavy because there are certain flights that are going to places and they are not allowing them to land. So Trump's sending them on planes and they won't allow them to land. So let's make sure we're keeping our brothers and sisters in prayer. All right, breaking. President Trump is set to sign an executive order to reinstate over 8,000 service members who were discharged from the military for refusing the vaccine and granting them full back pay. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
You are now flying.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Like we always do, precept upon precept, we're going to put up tonight's thumbnail. Tonight's thumbnail, and Solomon. If you pretty much self-explanatory, but there is layers to this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. Okay. The first 10 days, all right? Done, done, done. In enters Trump, Most High God, the master of chess. All right. Dun, dun, dun.
That's what that is.
All right. Look, we have Trump in the middle of the chessboard, and then you have all the other pieces on the side. And Trump is sitting on top of the world, right here. And if you look to the west coast of the map or of the image, you see the fire, right? That's California, LA, on fire. On this side of the country. On the other side of the country, you can over here in D.C., you got the Northern Kingdom worried about being deported back to their other lands. All right? So, Precept Upon Precept presents the first 10 days.
And that's right. When you say dun 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 dun, like Trump enters the scene, and that's the whole premise of it. And the amazing thing is that when you look at that, that's supposed to be representing the hand of God. And the Most High is making everything happen just as he sees fit. So tonight's show, keep that in mind, this whole thing. Brother Mikhail used AI to make that. Keep that in mind, that this is all of God. And all of the deportations and all of the hell that our people are going to catch is also of God too. So, matter of fact, I like that. Leave that up there, Akim. There's two things that just came in, right? Read that. Can they see that on the screen or no? Okay. Read Solomon.
Breaking. France has held discussions with Denmark about sending troops to Greenland in response to threats made by U.S. President Donald Trump.
This is ironic, and those of you who have watched the show, you know that it would invoke a certain article from NATO, right? And since NATO is controlled, operated, and run solely by the United States of America, this is why it's a joke, right? It shows you that there is no unity amongst NATO. Pull up, is it Article 17? Pull up Article 17. It just came to me. And there's another one. No, that's good right there. Because what this shows is that NATO is supposed to be united. Denmark is part of NATO. France is all part of NATO. Why are they talking about potential military arms over Greenland? Article 17. Is it whatever it is? Article 5, I forget what it is. It just came to me. Type in NATO, man. Type in NATO article. It's 5. It's 5. That's it. That's it, exactly. I don't know what I was thinking. 17. Read that.
Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, NATO, states that an armed attack on one member state is considered an attack on all members.
This is why when get me, and I get the scripture wrong, is it either Matthew 17 or 16? A house divided cannot stand. Every time. 12, thank you. Every single time that you see a kingdom at the top of its game, which is the United States of America, know that it is soon to fall. Read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Yeah.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
The house of East NATO is basically the house of Esau, and they're not standing right now. There's division amongst NATO, all right? Just wanted to, since you put that on the screen. Yes, please.
Verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan,
right,
he is divided against himself.
And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. All right, speaking of Satan, pull up, what's the order? What's the first number one? Tell me what it says, because I'm not on the screen. No. No, I don't want that one. Is it in order? Because I know I sent stuff to you late. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, he already has it. So, do me a favor, pull up. No, I don't want one. Give me that short video. No, I'm sorry. Give me the article. So, what y'all have seen, Northern Kingdom, like Solomon mentioned, Northern Kingdom is up in arms. They are worried. You got people, an American family born and raised in this country who is speaking Spanish got locked up by ICE. Now, later they were released and they apologized, but this is going to happen to a lot of our people, okay? This is it right here. Yes. So one of the things that Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief of the executive branch of the United States of America, is deporting and plans to deport criminals and bad guys from other countries to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, where they did the same thing after 9/11. They put Afghanis and Iraqis, they put them there in Cuba. It's a quick read from Reuters. This is a good source if you, those of you who looking for outside sources. This is from today, I think.
U.S. military deportation flight likely costs more than first class. Washington, January 30th. U.S. President Donald Trump's military deportation flight to Guatemala, to Guatemala on Monday likely cost at least $4,675 per migrant.
So you might say, why the hell is that? It's going to explain to you why when you see the transportation vehicle that they're going to be using. Read on.
According to data provided by U.S. and Guatemalan officials, that is more than 5 times the $853 cost of a one-way first-class ticket on American Airlines from El Paso, Texas, the departure point for the flight, according to a review of publicly available airfares. It is also significantly higher than the cost of a commercial charter flight by U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement.
See, the thing with Trump doesn't want to wait, so he's invoking the U.S. military powers. Read that. Trump?
Where's it at?
Right there.
Okay, Trump launched the military deportation flights last week as part of his national emergency declaration on immigration.
One of the first, do me a favor, Akim, pull up Trump's first day in office executive orders. Just try to find something. I didn't get that. There's a bunch of executive order signs. One of the first ones was he declared a national emergency on our southern border. So he's now using I think the C-17s. That's a huge friggin' military flight. And it is, watch how much it cost. Why do you don't show me, bro? Nobody want to see. We want to see the article, bro. Okay. Read that, please.
Trump launched the military deportation flights last week as part of his national emergency declaration on immigration.
Mm-hmm.
So far, sending 6 plane loads of migrants on flights to Latin America.
6 plane loads of migrants. Read on.
Only 4 have landed, all of them in Guatemala, after Colombia refused to let 2 U.S. C-17 cargo aircraft land and instead sent its own planes to collect migrants following a standoff with Trump.
And Trump threatened tariffs on Colombia, and they ultimately backed down. Now, not yet. Read U.S. official. Can you read that, Solomon?
Yes.
Okay.
A U.S. official speaking to Reuters on condition of anonymity estimated the cost to operate a C-17 military transport aircraft is $28,500 per hour.
$28,500 per hour. That's how serious Trump is. Listen, I'm not waiting in commercial charter planes. I'm not waiting on this. We're going to get these trains. We're going to fill them up, these planes, and we're going to, it just goes to show you, that's the point. The amount of seriousness that Donald Trump is swiftly moving. That was pretty much it. Y'all can read it, the rest on your own. And now pull up executive orders. So y'all, Trump is, y'all, I know everybody's watched him. This dude is talking so much cash as he's signing them. Biden was the worst. But he just talking, he's cussing Biden out in his own Edomite way, and it's funny as hell. Do you have any, is this an article? Okay. Is it, scroll down, let me see something. Does it list them? See if you can find something, YouTube, real quick. We'll read this. That it shows all of the orders, because it was a bunch. He saw like 26 executive orders.
President Trump promised to do a lot right from the start if elected, and he certainly did that. During his first week in office, Trump signed dozens of executive orders affecting everything from immigration, climate change,
right,
and oil exploration.
So, translation, pack your bags, get the hell out. Next thing, no Green Deal. And the next one, drill, baby, drill. He was talking that the whole time, right? Health and medical research, DEI, no more doggone transgenders, and affirmative action, got rid of it, all that. We want merit, no more. And he's just talking big junk, okay? And he's backing it up. Read on. Oh, wait.
As well as?
During his first week in office, as well as eliminating federal diversity programs, directives, defining gender, and much, much more.
He said there's 2 genders in the U.S., okay? Male and female. So all praises for that.
The problem that a lot of people are having is got to do with what they're listing, the defining of genders and exclusion of, certain people's lifestyles and all of that stuff. Right. And now they want to drag black people into the conversation. Like, oh my God, it's going to go against black people. Everything been against us. Mm-hmm. Y'all are mad because now everything that was part of civil rights and diversity and all of the stuff that black people fought for from the 60s was now given on over to sodomites and midgets. Mm-hmm. And now y'all not getting y'all just due in the legal sense. So now y'all trying to, once again, pull on black people's coattails and say, hey, come join us in this fight. Look what it's against. It's against you. We've been living in the project since Reagan. Mm-hmm. Before Reagan. We've been poor since poor was a word in this country. It ain't never changed.
To tap into that same vein, they said that one hour of flight was about 28 large, right? It's roughly about 5.5 hours from El Paso to where they flying to in Colombia. And they sent 6 birds. Do the math on that. America ain't broke. They keep telling, we over the budget. We ain't got no money. Trump found money to put them 6 birds in there real quick. Like, okay, how many? 28? Yeah, get them up out of here. That's a perpetual hatred. Yeah, Northern Kingdom, you black like me too. You are black like me too. So don't get it twisted. What they say, me no, you.
Northern Kingdom said, no, you black like that. I'm black like these.
Yeah, okay, no, you black like us. They don't like you either. We the same.
Hey, get that in Hosea 5:15. This is what Northern Kingdom need. Now it's a sad thing that is happening to our people. It is, but this needs to happen so that Northern Kingdom wakes the hell up and understands that they are Negroes as well. You just a Negro that biki pani. Read that.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Now, Northern Kingdom, y'all going to be praying to Santeria and all. No. The Virgin Mary ain't going to help you. That white Jesus ain't going to help you. Praying to all of these saints so that y'all get on y'all little cars, that y'all got your bodegas and all of that stuff, lighting up your candles, none of that stuff is going to work. You need to repent and keep the commandments of God. The Trump card has been played. 2025 is going to be a hell of a year. We've already seen how it's going. It's going to get worse, and it has to get worse so that God can get our attention.
Pull up. Did you get the executive orders yet, or is that still? Okay. Is it fairly not too long? It's a long one, but he starts off with it. Okay. So we're going to show you all of the, and remember it said dozens of executive orders. One of the first ones was to declare the southern border a national emergency, and he's going to, hopefully it'll be succinct. Play that.
The others, look, I'm not going to go through it, but we're going to sign some orders right now, and that's really what I want to do. So we're going to sign executive orders. First, I'll revoke nearly 80 destructive and radical executive actions of the previous administration, one of the worst administrations in history, maybe not one of them, the worst. Anybody that would allow millions of people to pour through our borders from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums, gang members to be taken off the streets of Venezuela and deposited in our country, and many, not just Venezuela. You know, crime in Venezuela is down 74% because they took their criminals and gave them to us through an open border policy of the previous administration. All over the world, they're emptying their prisons into our country. They're emptying their mental institutions into our country.
Okay, so real quick. So that's one of the first executive orders was the southern border. Now, can you pull up the general? There's a video, Akiem, about the Texas military deploying 400 soldiers. That's number 2, I think. Number 2.
I mean, when you look at history, Cap, didn't Esau send his mentally ill and his criminals and all of that to South America?
Yes, sir.
They were the plantation owners in South America. They sent them from Europe onto this side, hoping that they would die, but they found people and enslaved them, and you know what I'm saying? And now you're upset that these same people who you've done all of this evil to is now doing evil to you, so to say, because y'all been blaming Negroes for crime since the day before forever.
Esau did the same thing in Australia. They took their rejects and their degenerates and put them in Australia, and they abused the natives of that land. I forget, they live in the interior. They're very dark-skinned folks, and I think some of them were from the Solomon Islands that were, you saw Captain Ohio, what's my man name? Adiah went into that on one of the documentaries. So now this is one of his first executive actions, orders, and now we're going to pull up a video of the Texas military deploying 400 soldiers. It's a start, and they are marching in, weapons muzzle down. That means that they're prepared to defend. Okay.
Breaking. The Texas military has deployed 400 soldiers to the Rio Grande Valley to support U.S. Border Patrol and to enhance ongoing border operations.
So the point is that Trump is backing up his executive orders with actions. And if you think 400 is a lot, more and more and more are going to be deployed. Pull up. Did we do the video number 3 on Guantanamo Bay? Okay. Let's pull that up, because one of the places, for example, let's say, for example, y'all, that there's, they capture 1,000 total migrants, 1,000 criminals from different countries, 350 from this country, and they have documentation. Legally, they're going to bring them back to that country, or the country will pick them up. There's many men that they're not going to tell you where they're from. They're just going to the grave. They're not going to say, and then now they have no assigned country. These who have been locked up and committed crimes and things like that. These are our brothers in Northern Kingdom. And like Captain Matthew said, we pray that they repent. And we are not cheering for them to leave or stay. You know, scriptures tell us that we have to obey the laws of the land. And sometimes our brothers are so desperate to escape these war-torn drug cartel, lack of economic opportunity that they're willing to go from South America by foot all the way up to Central America just to try to get a hope to a new life. So,
and what's crazy, Cap, is he keeps saying that it's the criminals coming up in here. Well, if they're successful at their criminality, why would they come to a police state like the U.S.? They got free reign in their home country. Right. Why would they come to a police state like the U.S. to try to escape? Because every person that you hear, they tried to escape. They're trying to escape. They're trying to escape. That's why they got those asylum laws, because of what's going on in their home country. Why would they leave all of the money that they making, all of the stuff that they doing, to come to the U.S. where they could more than likely get caught?
Cap, not only that, to your point, remember we did the show, we talked about the coyotes and those people. In certain parts in Arizona, it's probably died down now. They actually give them free reign to like shoot at people, to like utilize any kind of force. Like if you see them crossing over, and them little whatever they are, they Proud Boys, whatever they are, they actually out there with firearms patrolling themselves. And if they get one of them, they say, okay, these people leaving, war torn, poverty, they giving their last little money to try to get over to provide for their families, and they get taken advantage of by them coyotes, and then they may be uncertain, like certain death if they get caught up or they get shot or whatever the case may be.
And why would, like you said, why would you risk your life? Because a lot of these brothers, some are criminals. I would argue that the percentage that are criminals is far less than the ones that are just trying to get a better life. And it's interesting that, they'll cry out to Guadalupe, they'll cry out to white Jesus, and nobody's coming to save you. And this is why we know that God is going to make things very hard, and he's going to make them seek him. And this is what's going to happen. So, deportation number 3. This is an executive.
Back, and they're going to like it. Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it.
Pause. Do me a favor. Type in Cuban embargo. What's ironic is for the last 4 decades, Cuba has been sanctioned and embargoed for America, making it damn near cripple economically throughout the world. But yet they still have a base at the pull up Guantanamo Bay also, if it's not too much. Let's read this real quick, Solomon, Wikipedia, because here we have a base that the U.S. still uses as recently after 2001, September 11, yet they don't allow Cuba to thrive in the world, showing you that this Edomite, this American white man truly runs the entire earth. Okay, play that and read that.
Cuba. The United States embargo against Cuba has prevented U.S. businesses from conducting trade or commerce with Cuban interests since 1958.
That's all we wanted, but it's not. It's more than the U.S. It's the U.S. and its allies. That's why when our bishops and our deacons went there, a lot of them are still driving vehicles from the 60s and 70s, some from the 50s, because they don't have the ability to import certain things. And it's like I remember they were saying the captains were saying it was like going back in time. So it just shows you. Pull up Guantanamo Bay. Image in a map, really. There we go. So if you look, and there's a reason why it's damn near, if you look, Haiti and Jamaica are right there. Because when they were fighting the Spanish-American War, they're not worried about, if you look at La Habana, they're not looking to defend that. You want that area so when ships come up, that's where they build the base right there. And they've been there ever since. They've been there ever since. Remember, the Russians were bringing armaments to Cuba. That was hence the Cuban Missile Crisis. We almost had World War III in 1961, around that time.
Yep.
So the sanction actually was before that, because the sanctions were put on in 58. They had relations with Russia probably around the mid-50s. So they have crippled that island. 62, thank you. All right, so we got the map. Go back to the article. Yeah, not the article, the video.
I'm
It should
curious.
be a video.
Does that include Ishmael?
Yeah, because Ishmael be sneaking across the border
Yeah,
under
that-
the guise that they Northern Kingdom.
Yeah, they flew them in here. I'm just curious to know if that
Yeah,
that
the
include-
Afghanis that they, the Pakistanis.
Just thought I'd
the-
ask.
The Iranians, the Iraqis that they, bring over here on C-17s. On C-17s.
Also, what about the European Caucasians that expired visas? They're a threat to society.
They are.
They're illegal students.
Yep.
And that's wrong. So all of them need to go. If you're going to ship the Mexicans out, okay, let's go with that argument. Like you said, Afghans, the East Indians, the ones that got math degrees, if they're here 3 days after the visa expires, get them the hell out of here too. And we'll see how this works out. We'll see. What you're going to find is that Donald Trump sounds great. He's a fun guy. He's a funny guy. Makes a lot of jokes. But you're going to find that once he gets his agenda done, he's going to turn to us. And a lot of y'all don't know that yet. A lot of us, in its truth, we know that. But hopefully, y'all see that. There should be a video from Forbes.
In Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And you would have known that, and you were there when I said it. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's crime is down 77% because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords. They've shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from. We're going to take it
I'm
back.
going to let you know, so you see that look in his seat? I want to pause that right there. You see that look in his face? We were in a prison in South America. Who was teaching the people that East Indian. He had that same exact look when he was starting to describe how they break men in jail.
Yep.
They break them. They put them in this building. He said, yeah, well, next time y'all come back, I'm going to show y'all what that building looked like. And he had that face right there.
Yep.
He said, I'm going to show you how the men, they'll lose their minds. We put them in there, and, yeah, you know what I mean? It really gets to him. It's like he got joy out of saying it. Because he East Indian, and ain't nothing but a whole bunch of our people locked up in that place. That face right there, it made me remember of that damn East Indian guy we spoke to at that jail.
Cap. He smiled. That's when I walked out because I got upset. Well, I didn't show him I was upset, but I walked out because he was excited about when you put them in there by themselves and you just kind of leave them, and he had that like that gave him a sick little thrill, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, I need to step out for a moment because yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna send you from Valuetainment, it's the first 3 minutes of what I'm about to send you because I want the executive orders that I'm gonna put the last thing on tonight's content, Akiem. This guy's name is Mr. Patrick. He's pretty good. Play the first 3 minutes. And real quick, give me yes. Yeah, get that right now. I was going to have to get the scripture, but no, let's just get this because it's important to know what Trump is doing is, like the thumbnail, is being moved by God. And he's going to make things appear to be better for Americans, but eventually that will all come to an end, and we will see what's really going on behind the scenes. Because these policies, if you think that they're set up for Black and Hispanic and Native American, if you really think that they're designed for us, you are sadly mistaken. So this is Valuetainment. This is Patrick. He's pretty good host. I believe he's an Iranian. He's a Middle Eastern. And first 3 to 4 minutes.
When you hire a new CEO, new executive, they kind of slow play their ideas, their strategies to be able to extend their lifespan to say, look, I did something good. First quarter, second quarter, first year, second year, third year. They don't come out the gates wanting to execute and start doing things day one. Unless if you hire President Trump. Day one, here's a chart. Guy gets hired. He's up in the morning, hasn't slept for God knows how long. On January 20th, swears in. Boom, gone. We're in the room at Capital One Arena. He's signing executive orders, and here's an article showing how he ranks compared to Biden, previous administration, Trump, 2016, to Obama, to Bush. Here's what it looks like. On day one, President Trump signed 26 executive orders compared to Biden's 9, compared to Trump 2017, 1, compared to Obama 2013, 0, compared to Obama 2009, 2, Bush day one, 0. There was no executive orders on day one, meaning Trump did nearly 3 times more executive orders on day one than they did combined on day one. That's Trump. By the way, while I'm sitting with him, I'm going to go through a lot of these executive orders and what they mean and what the numbers look like with other people, what they've done over the years collectively as presidents. But I asked him a question when he was sitting here in the podcast. I said, Mr. President, there's a lot of people that are wondering who's the most powerful people in the world. Is it the billionaires? Is it the richest man in the world? Is it, the virtual governments, the leaders of Facebook, YouTube, Google, all these other companies? Is it the deep state? Is it the director of FBI, director of CIA? Is the people that are going to stay there for a while? Is the speaker? Who is the most powerful person in the world? And he said, without any hesitation, I don't want to take the words out of his mouth, this is what he said.
The most powerful person by far, the president. Power over everybody.
And he's already proven it in less than a week that maybe he was right. The most powerful person in the world during these 4 years is the right who knows how to execute the right policies. We're going to talk about that today. If you give value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I have all the executive orders, some more powerful than others. Couple of them, people are shivering. Literally, people are shivering, hoping he doesn't do it. By the way, I believe the reason why he's able to impose the way he is because of 6 reasons. I'll give that to you at the end. But let me start off with some very interesting. Out of all the things that you got, you choose to talk about this. Watch this here. If you go to whitehouse.gov, you'll see one of the presidential actions being promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. Promoting beautiful civic architecture? Why do you care about buildings? We have all these other things to deal with. Winston Churchill, the great Winston Churchill, once said, "We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us." He wants to make our federal buildings nice at his standard, with his background, real estate. Let me read this to you. I hereby direct
thanks for sitting through this part. I want to get to, can you fast forward just a little bit?
Hey, what I got from that just now? He takes pride in how his people look, how they're perceived, because their perception is going to affect their mentality. And in this time, they need their mentality to be all the way Edomite. They need to be all the way Esau. They don't need to be nothing else. They don't need to be diverse. They don't need to be inclusive. They need to be the almighty Edomite nation. And he wants them to look like the almighty Edomite nation. That goes to show you how much your image affects your rulership.
And when you think about the diversity and inclusion, all that, and then he'll go back and say, well, it doesn't matter what race you are. And the reality is the the disadvantages that black and brown people have had in this country, we've been trying to catch up for centuries. So when it comes to old money, when it comes to resources and generational wealth, they have all the advantages. There was a video Bishop played about a black man. He starts off like 5 laps behind. See if you can find that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you what the reason why when it comes to merit-based and it comes to affirmative action, which, listen, we're all for pulling each up by the bootstraps and all that. But the reality is, if they didn't have some of these laws in place, we would still be under this. We wouldn't even have civil rights. So this is why y'all play games. I mean, they're going to get rid of Black Lives Matter, get rid of all this gender neutral and sex change, and all that's evil. And they need to get rid of that. But what happens when that's all done? They're going to remember who we are, and they're coming for us. Okay, even though we've been catching hell, our little liberties. Can you find that? I know I threw a curveball at you. Okay, no problem. Play on with this because he's going to get to some of the executive orders. I know it's a little bit slow.
That's a presidential action that he took. Now, let me read you some of the executive orders. You ready? You ready? These are all 6 executive orders under immigration. Number 1, National Emergency Act regarding the crisis of the southern border of the United States. Number 2, suspend the physical entry of aliens engaged in an invasion of the United States. Number 3, protecting the United States from foreign terrorists. Number 4, securing southern borders. Number 5, protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Number 6, realigning the United States refugee admissions program. By the way, these are all things that President Biden could have done like this and never did in 4 years. Every time we're going to fix the border, we're going to fix it. He did all of this in 1 day, on the 20th. Biden could have done this for 4 years. Kamala could have done this for 4 years. Maybe that's why they're not presidents.
That's why
Number
Trump
2,
was
energy
talking.
and environment.
You can leave it up there. You don't have to put it on me. That's why Trump was talking so much junk, because he knew that I believe that he knew that they was trying to kill him. He knew that if he could get into, he talked so much ish during the campaign trail to Biden and Harris, because he knew that once he gets in the position of power, that he didn't care anymore. He was going to make things happen. And that's why I'm telling these people are worried about him. But there's one thing we're going to get to later on with Douglas McGregor. There's one thing that he cannot escape. And we're going to show you a little bit later on. Play on. Yeah, play that video. I'm going to show you that when he talks about getting rid of DEI and going back to merit-based, if we all lived in an equal society where nobody went through slavery and we all came from similar backgrounds where we had a similar foothold in life economically, socially, there's an argument for that. The reality is that many of our forefathers, many of us in this room, were first generation graduated from college. Some of us in our family still have not even made it to college. Some of us have family members still that are generational welfare, generational project, and to this day. And some of it is a mentality, but you're born into that. And check this out. This is a quick video. So you know what I like about this? It shows you a black brother and Hispanic. So already from the beginning, they have a toll. They have a something inhibiting their path. And the other two, which was Esau and who was it, Asian dude, something like that? Two Edomites. No problems at all. A free and clear start. Play on.
From 1492.
Right.
In the years past, 1500s, slavery, broken treaties, genocide, manifest destiny, Trail of Tears, Dred Scott decision, segregation, Jim Crow. Still going, and we still can't run yet. Remember, the numbers at the bottom right are the years. And he passes the torch on
Wow.
to his son. And now his son got the money, and we still have not started running yet.
Wow. So his son is now an old man passing to the grandson. Wow, look at this.
Yep. Third generation, and we still have not started running yet.
Wow.
Now we got a wealth disparity.
So
19
pause real quick. And that's what we're just talking about. In 1964 was the beginning of the civil rights. When it was at 68 when we finally got our was it 65? Mid 60s, we finally got legally the right to drink water at a water fountain, the right to vote, and all the other civil rights. So they have hundreds of years, almost since 1492 all the way till 1964, 100 centuries of head start. And that's befitting. So when you say a merit-based society, they have so many advantages psychologically, economically, socially, within the job force in the business sector, that this is why we hear black people complaining about, hey, our government contracts we're not going to have anymore, because sometimes you need something like affirmative action just to make sure there's an oversight committee to make sure black people get a bone. And I'm going to tell you something. That was of God, and God is going to, God provided it. God provided Martin Luther King. God will also use Trump to take it away, because you black people and you Hispanics, you trust in your enemy. And we're not trusting in God.
Hey, Cap,
We're
they
not
said they
trusting
want a
in God.
merit-based society, right?
Right.
Well, who's going to judge the merit? Who's going to judge the merit? Because in, what was it? You know the dates better than I do, Cap, where we had more black people in political office than any time in history, 10 years out of slavery.
Post-Reconstruction, there were more from about we was free in 1865. So from, I believe it's 1872 or 75 to about 1900. That's called post-Reconstruction. We had more black political officials at all three levels, both the federal, the state, and local government level than any time in history. That's why they had to implement the black codes, because we were rising too fast.
So you mean to tell me we had merit?
We had merit. And what we had is we had unity. Black unity back then. We had no other choice. And now we forgot who we are. We forgot. Just like when it says a young lion shall rise up, and then like an old lion go to sleep. Now, before we go back to that Patrick video, we're going to finish this executive orders. We're going to come back after Kingdom music, y'all. Okay.
But that's the thing about them. This is hypocritical. And it has to happen so our people can see it. Oh, we want a merit-based society. It's not about what you are, the color of your skin. Well, what happens when the person with the skin color that you don't like is better than you? What happens then? You're going to step down as the inferior person in the company to who you look at as an inferior person in the company? Come on now.
And they have the numbers. So let's say, for example, it's a merit base, right? And let's say now 80% of all companies or 85% of companies are Caucasian. So now the governing board, the hiring board, the people that are responsible to make decisions, if they're the vast majority, how do you think that they're going to rule? You think they're honest? Well, no, we're going to make sure we reflect this. We're living in a city that San Antonio is 50% Hispanic and black. Well, we're going to make sure, Chuck, that we get that there's no more. No, it's merit based. And they can decide who they want. And guess what? It's of the Lord. Unfortunately, as much as it is of the Most High, because God is using Trump to make all these executive orders.
Yep.
Okay, play that. We're almost done.
Energy and environment, declaring national energy emergency. Number 3, putting America first in international environmental agreements. Again, this is drill, baby, drill. That's part of it. 3 executive orders on the energy and environments. Number 3, crime, designation of Ansar Allah as a terrorist organization. Next one, designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations.
Pause. I want you to do me a favor. there's a creed. I don't know if it was the Marine Corps, Army. It said, we will protect the United States of America from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That's when you're getting sworn in, to serve.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now check this out. He just talked about foreign enemies like the cartel, and he labeled certain organizations. So after they go and they attack and fight the cartel and do all that, he took care of the foreign enemies to the United States. Then when he's going to turn to the domestic enemies of the United States, and just like he can sign an executive order to make the cartel a enemy of the United States of America, what could he do to any agency that they deem a domestic enemy? I really hope you understand that, oh, wow, Trump's getting stuff done, this and that. Okay. With a stroke of his pen, you're going to find some of us are going to realize that maybe we're in over our heads. Oath of office. Yeah, read that. You got it?
Yes, sir. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
It says you take care of the foreign enemies first, and then you worry about the ones at home. I'm telling y'all. So look, just keep this in mind. Was that on the Patrick video? Because we're going to go to the break. Okay. So look, y'all, thank you for sticking around. We're going to go to our break now. We come back. Captain Matt is going to get into kingdom music, and then we're going to get to the second half of the show. Stick around, y'all. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe!
Have a good vibe. There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Oh,
You okay,
sorry.
sis?
I'm
That's
fine.
crazy.
I did not see you right there, sis. Our tents are mad close together.
This is why we need on land. Aren't y'all sisters tired of bumping head wraps every time y'all come out of your tent?
Yes.
Not only that, aren't y'all tired of Esau telling us what to do, how loud the music is, or how long we can feast? This isn't only about owning our own land for tabernacles or feast days. It's about nation building. Whether a little or a lot, pledge now at IUIC.nationhood@AsiaUnite.org. Shalom, Messiah in Christ bless.
Did he just say donate to their own land?
I think he did.
Wait,
You know
officer, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's the King. Let's go.
Shalom, Shalaweezy. What's going on? What's happening with you? It's your boy. I ain't no boy. I'm a man. It's your brother, Captain Matt here with Kingdom Music. It's been a minute. But I'm going to jump feet first into this thing with the Sons of Thunder. Take it away.
Living the even, spend holy days away from the heathen. I need a break, I don't need a reason. I need a script, I don't need your grievance. Keep it to yourself, it's better for my health. Leave it on the shelf, ain't hearing nothing else. Tonight and tonight, knowing the price, pay it off for my life, till it's out with your lights. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call him Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part, but now it's time to cut you to the heart. If that's on occasion, it's the strangest of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them terrorists coming invasion since the creation. War, mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't vote, we looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time again. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See, that is why we repented. Go to streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light. I need 1,000 years of labor. Sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know wine, press alone. He bring pain like Major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist. That's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming. I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them. You know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25. Yeah, you know they gon' fry. Whoa!
Said he won't vote, we looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
Hey, so y'all already know one of the dopest groups in Israel right now. Both of my brothers. All right. So that has been Captain Matt with Kingdom Music. Make sure that y'all support original royalty. All of the stuff that's going on, meditate in these scriptures. The scriptures tell us that we prophesy with music. So we need y'all to support the music so that we can continue to infect the world with righteousness. All right. All that other stuff is done for. We bringing real music back. Shalom.
Hey, hey, ladies and gentlemen, there's the king. Let's go. Hey,
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome back. Take a look at the thumbnail real quick, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Precept Upon Precept, your late show. So tonight, when you look at, it says, da-da-da-dun, in enters Trump, Most High God, the master of chess, in the first 10 days of Donald Trump as the president of the United States. Now, before break, we covered some of his executive orders, some of his deportation, and other things that he has implemented. Captain Matthew mentioned right before the break that he not only is labeled foreign entities, foreign enemies of the United States, now he's working on something else, which we shouldn't be surprised. Okay, Solomon?
President Trump signs executive order to fight anti-Semitism in the United States and around the world.
So we know what that means. That means that the Jewish lobby, okay, under the leadership of Netanyahu and the Israeli government, is the backbone and is the motivation behind this whole policy. Because why, if it was about making America great again, why wouldn't they just say fighting anti-Semitism within the U.S.? It said within and throughout the world. That's the agenda. Because wherever they go, they want to have, you can't even speak about them. That's what they want to try to control. And you got a lot of Edomites, U.S. American Edomites, U.S. GIs, U.S. politicians, U.S. journalists, and political officials, former journalists, that are like, this is ridiculous. And there is outcry against what they are doing by their own Edomite household. All right? Read that.
Trump order cracks down on anti-Semitism and could deport foreign student protesters. An executive order signed Wednesday by President Trump outlines a broad federal crackdown on the explosion of anti-Semitism in the U.S., especially on college campuses, and says he will cancel visas for foreign students who are Hamas sympathizers and deport pro-jihadist protesters.
So if you're going to cancel the visa of a foreign student that says Hamas sympathizers, so Hamas is standing up for Palestine. So if you are a college student and you have a visa legally and you say free Palestine and you disagree with the genocide that the Israelis are doing, this administration is going to, you're already legal. They will cancel your legality if you even sympathize or try to support them.
So that's anti-Muslim.
That is anti. It is anti-Muslim. It is anything that goes like you might as well just be quiet and say nothing. So, and this is why with the Irish are standing in staunch opposition of the Israelis and what they're doing, and that's why the Israeli they pulled their embassy out of Ireland. So these are all the Caucasians. So anything that talks against their evil, okay, they want the power and backing of the U.S. to go after them internationally and, of course, in the U.S. And so this is an example. So this was from the Watchman Report earlier that Micah went into. Yeah, read on.
We put you on notice. Come 2025, we will find you and we will deport you.
Wow.
Read a White House.
Wait, so how would they find them? Well, you got the Canary. The Canary, was it League?
Canary Mission.
Canary Mission. You have the ADF. ADL, Anti-Defamation League. And who all owns and operates those organizations? The Jewish media. Yep. So their Jewish media, anybody that they don't like, they look for, track down. Then from these reports, that's how this administration is going to. So basically, guess what, brothers and sisters? Guess what list we're on? So this is why we got to get our stuff right. This is why we got to work together. This is why y'all got to know what it's like when they start taking people's jobs. We better start. Give me Judges 5 about rehearse the righteous acts. We are going to have to start practicing working together. What's going to happen if they find out that you just worked to get a degree and now you're making good money, and all of a sudden now the degree you work for, you can't get a job in that field anymore? What happens if they come after your Social Security? What happens if they come after your WIC? What happens if they come after your disability? What happens if they come after the job that you created a business on and you thought there's no way you could lose that job? We're going to have to work together. It's called group economics. And when black people did that in 1865 to 1900, it was forced group economics. Either you work together or you die.
Yep.
The Lord going to push us to that level. I hope we see that. Read that.
The book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 11.
Thank you.
They that are delivered from the noise of the archers.
So this is all about us in the land of our captivity being delivered. Read on.
In the places of drawing water.
Right. We would be servants. Read on.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
The whole point is it's a rehearsal. We have to start practicing now. The righteous acts, meaning what? You in a really good position, but a brother you know is struggling and his car's broken down. But you got 2 cars. You're not struggling. You're supposed to say that brother's struggle is my struggle, and we come together and we help this man. That's the way Christ moved. Otherwise, why you nigga pay your own taxes? Christ paid their taxes. Christ fed them. Christ healed them. We have to move like that. And if we don't, I'm telling a lot of y'all comfortable in here. We are comfortable. We have to fight to, and then when we start doing that, when the Lord allows these people to do that and take this job, you lose this benefit. When we fight to work together, the Lord can go touch this dude's heart and this dude's heart to rescind this and take that away and have mercy on him. Okay? He can use our enemies to help us, believe it or not. Give me Jeremiah. It says, is it 15? I will entreat thy enemy. Look up the word entreat thy enemies. When we do well to God, he will use our enemies to entreat us well. I'm going to find it. I don't expect you to do this. Entreat. It's Jeremiah.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 11.
Very good. I was right. Start at 15, verse 1. Thank you.
Jeremiah, chapter 15, and verse 1. Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people.
So showing you that the whole chapter is about the Israelites. Moses was an Israelite. Okay, read it again.
Then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me.
Samuel, read 1st and 2nd Samuel, huge chapters talks about his son went astray. Samuel was used by God. Moses was used by God. These are the Israelites. Jeremiah was used by God. What does Jeremiah have to say to Israel for? Watch read 10. Let me hear 10.
Verse 10. Woe is me, my mother, that thou hast borne me a man of strife and a man of contention to the whole world.
Read verse 11.
Verse 11. The Lord said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily, I will.
The remnant of who? The remnant of Samuel's people. The remnant of Moses' people. Read on.
Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction.
If when we, as Samuel's people and Moses' people, we turn back to the Lord and work together, he's going to cause our enemies to entreat. Read it again, so a little faster this time.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 15 and verse 11. The Lord said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant.
Well with the remnant. Who? The remnant that come back, rehearse the righteous acts, that are helping one another. Philippians chapter 2, verse 2 through 5. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. We work together, bear one another's burdens, love one another like we love ourselves. Read on.
Verily, I will cause the enemy.
Cause who?
I will cause the enemy.
The enemy, read on.
To entreat thee well. in the time of evil and in the time of affliction.
That's what we want. We want our enemies to entreat us well during the time of evil and affliction. That's what we're striving for. When you hear all these things that's going on, listen, imagine if you was Northern Kingdom right now. Just imagine if here you are, let's say, for example, you first generation Mexican American, meaning your parents was born in Mexico, they fought, they got here, they did what they had to do, and you became a citizen. They can lock you up, you probably will, you're going to get out, but you can disrupt your whole life. That's what happened to families already. They got locked up because they were speaking Spanish. Y'all better realize this what's about to happen. Things about to get real, okay? I don't know how far they're going to take it. Micah.
Yeah, Cap, to your point, like that passes from job to job also, because now it's trickling down to the rest of them. They say, okay, well, you speak Spanish, I'm going to let you go. And they may be citizens, but because their family is Hispanic, I ain't giving you this job. You can't work here because you're this. To Cap point, they starting to mess with people's employment as well.
Right, you're in the spirit, officer, because of the fact that what Cap was just saying, they're disrupting their lives. And when you disrupt their lives, okay, they're missing hours from work, being locked up. So now that sets them behind, and then they have to play catch up.
Facts. Real quick, let's move it on. Now we're going to shift gears. Did we do the anti-Semitism? Did we touch that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So just be very mindful. Now, let's get to Trump is putting this squeeze on the federal budget. So number 5, y'all better pay attention. And something he tried to do, he was not successful, but he will try. Play that.
Tonight, as part of his promise to reduce government spending, President Trump is making more than 2 million federal workers an offer. Quit now and accept a severance package. NBC News first reporting federal...
I want you to understand something. 2 million federal workers, Donald Trump offered them buyout packages. 8 months of salary, and after that, you're done. So he takes their job, cuts 2 million jobs. He doesn't have to pay them out for a year. Only 8 months, and guess what? It got shot down, but this guy is not playing. Remember what, I think Kaplan might have mentioned it. Remember what the first thing Elon Musk did when he bought Twitter? Or was it X? You brought it up before. Well, the first thing he did, he fired like 70% of the staff. Yep. So, and remember the Dodge, the Department on Government Enforcement. So that's why Elon Musk came along with him, and the East Indian guy, I forget his name, and they're trying on government efficiency, the Department of Government Efficiency. They're looking to cut to save money for the American people. And guess what? Many of our people, through affirmative action and other, there's a lot of black and Hispanic people that work in the government, and our people are going to be one of the first ones that's going to get cut. Y'all better really pay attention, okay?
What we always say, last hire, first fired.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a whole bunch of our people.
And Cap, to that point, when they lose when our people lose salaries, a lot of people check to check. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't buy food. They can't pay their car. This puts our people in a bad way. Mm-hmm. Like our people that got like these nice lifestyle, they comfortable and everything like that. You really think about it. You only get an 8 month little severance package. That ain't gonna pay your bills.
And that's why I'm a firm believer, just from listening to older men and listening to my leadership, we should be living as close to below your means as possible. You don't need to have, if you got 2-3 kids, what do you need a 5-bedroom house for? Like, we got to really start paying attention. Do you need a brand new car when that 2008 you had was perfectly fine? It was been paid off for 5 years. Why not have a car that's paid off? You get lower car insurance, lower registration fees, lower taxes. Why not have the house that you, paint it up. Do a little bit of sprucing it up. Keep it. It's paid off, or you only owe $40,000 left on it. We need to live as close to and have assets like own homes that are paid off, cars that are paid off. So if you get laid off, your bills are very low. We Get me that. It says, this is not our rest. Micah chapter, because this is not our, we should never be comfortable here. Okay, we're not the Joneses. We're not trying to compete with the Joneses or the Rodriguezes. We should have paid for houses, low rents. We got brothers down here, single brothers. Y'all all single brothers. Get one big place and pay $400. Take your rent and split it to pay a couple $100 a month. Then get your cars paid up. Now you don't have barely any bills. So when they give you the axe, your bills are next to nothing. Okay, we have to use wisdom. Okay, read that.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Man, this is not our rest. We're not supposed to be. This is why sometimes I understand. As you get older in this truth, you get more experience. I really understand why with the Lord, man. I'm not comfortable here at all. Like everything about my life, I realize the Lord make it just, he puts so much on you because he don't want you to be comfortable, man. You know how if I had millions of dollars, like I could wipe, it's never going to happen. I don't want it to happen. Because if it happens, then you're going to lose track of what's important. Mm-hmm. Not committing adultery, not stealing, not doing these things and committing sin. Because if you got all kind of money and no struggle, sin is at the door. Okay? Thank you for that. Go back to this article. Was a video, sorry. And after this, we're going to jump right
for
down
my
to
email
number
late
6,
this
please.
afternoon. The White House expects 5 to 10% of the federal workforce to accept it, which could lead to $100 billion in annual savings. But tonight, in a blow to the administration, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the president's attempt at another government shakeup, after the Office of Management and Budget overnight ordered a temporary pause on grant, loan, or federal financial assistance programs that might run counter to President Trump's executive orders.
It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy.
Pause. You know, when the woke community, BLM, Black Lives Matters, and the LGBTQ community, they are cringing and they are livid. Remember, they have in schools, the parents were not even being obligated to be told if their child is choosing to start the gender transition process, such as taking, what is it called when you do, it's injection, hormone injections, and they do something when the men want to become women. They do is something, estrogen and testosterone blockers. It's some evil stuff. And these are children that are not even old enough to see a rated R movie by themselves. They can't buy a cigarette. They can't buy a glass of alcohol, but they can stop the hormones that are naturally in their body. That's some evil. So when she's talking about that, all that's good stuff that they're talking about. But I'm telling you, there's something behind, because after you put her into all of that, who does it leave? Because remember, during the 60s, you didn't have the woke community. You didn't have all of that. The LGBT was in the closet. Guess who was catching hell? The natives, Black America, mainly it was Judah. We were catching hell in every way, water hose, dogs, lynching, okay? Laughing barrel. Up until the 50s, you couldn't walk on the same side of the street in many towns in the South. Racism in the North was still very prevalent in the factories and in the industries. So we 4 to 5 decades out of catching real hell, and I hope we understand what's happening. Let's move on to the next one in the interest of time. It's a short video, federal workforce. I think it's a little bit of the same thing.
Because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's...
Yeah. Do you know who this is going to touch a lot of? He said, I want them to show. Who's the number one employed of the federal government? The black woman.
Black woman.
The black woman.
Fat
Oh,
black
they
women.
mad. They mad. Oh, they
The
mad.
fat Cheeto,
They
finger
mad here.
licking, lard ass, fat back black sisters at home talking all they junk. And they be the same ones in the lard mobiles at Walmart. Meow, lying around. Hey, that has been, COVID-19 increased the obesity rate of fat women, and particularly black women. They're horrible. And this is why we're leading a health revolution. But you're right, Mike. It's black women. It really is. And they, shoot.
They're going to have to catch them double XL lifts to work now.
Yes. I'm going to tell you, hey, Trump said you better show up to work. And watch what he says in the end of this. He says that some people would not even going to work, and he says something. Play on.
Fair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed.
And by the way, hold your point real quick. Don't forget, Cap. By the way, when he said by February 6th, that's a week from today. So by next Thursday, so right now it's almost midnight. It's actually the next day. It's 12:06 in the East Coast for most of the country, right? Most of the population. So by, let's say, 6.5 days, okay, next Thursday morning, if they don't show up or they're being terminated, this is effectively up to 2 million people, right? Now, I don't know how much of that number. Some maybe don't work from home. Some perhaps do. But the point is he's sending a message out, and this is going to affect black people. It's going to affect Hispanic people. So this guy's not playing, and a lot of these COVID benefits, the work from home, remote working, and a lot of people, they never even went back to the office. They made accommodations for people. All that Biden economics and Biden policies, he's smashing them all. Okay.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
That's touching. First and foremost, it's touching the alphabet community. It's going to touch us next. But first and foremost, the reason why he's getting on those at-home workers is because when a lot of them are in their transition and have their little surgeries, they can't be in the office. They're at home. They're still getting paid. Like in the military, you had people that was getting those gender reassignments, and it was what, 2 years recovery?
The therapy was about 2.5 years.
2.5 years, they're undeployable, not fit to go to war. And they're getting paid at whatever rank that they are just for sitting at home doing
Wait, they
nothing.
was getting paid while they were going through a gender reassessment.
Yes.
And the U.S. Army
Yes.
was taking their resources and allocated for people to heal from changing their gender.
Correct.
And they were letting them marry, and they get BA, all kind of marital benefits. Everything. It's the same that a heterosexual male and female marital benefits, they were giving them the same thing.
Let's just think about it, right? That's like, okay, if somebody said, I'm going to cut your thumb off, and while I cut your thumb off, you get to just recover and you get paid for it. People, that's outrageous to do that. You're going to cut something else off that's more important to your life, give you more time to heal, and people actually are. It just shows you how sick we are. This place is sick. It's a sick place. Now, we are number 6. We're done with 6. Okay. Switch gears. No problem. Part of the things that Trump, and this is the last time before we go to Larback attack, is Trump has also been doing something with his tariffs. Tough talking Trump and his tariffs. This would be, we've heard nonstop, okay, about his tariffs and what he's threatening. China, Canada, okay, Mexico, Guatemala, every country that does not want to align, he's threatening them with tariffs. First one is about Canada.
I'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico.
Pause. I want you to remember, and I had to really get an understanding of this. Think about it. If we're going to put a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada that are going to be sold here in the U.S., do you think that they're going to eat it? No. They're going to have to raise their price, as if I'm an American company and I'm importing something from Mexico. So I'm not eating as an American company. I'm going to raise the price, and the American public is going to have to pay a 25% higher charge. And this is what a lot of economists are trying to make it now. In the short term, you're going to have more revenue come in, and prices are going to go up. He's going to have to raise inflation to correct that. He's going to have to raise, get more jobs to come in here, raise wages and all that to offset that, if that's what he's talking about. It's not going to hurt the countries that get the tariff. So watch this.
You know what I envision? Mm-hmm. I see a lot of avocados, tomatoes, fruits, vegetables on the ground, like those wheat trucks and trains that we saw in France and Germany. They were just blowing it up, emptying it all out. I'm telling you, if they're going to pay a higher tax, they probably going to mess with our food supply.
Brothers and sisters, we better get ready. Trump he's the art of the deal, all right. Now, is that, I think that was it, or was a little bit more? Okay, and then after that, we're going to go to 8 and then 9, and we should be on time.
We will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Will oil be part of that, though? Because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have
Pause.
nothing
I want you to stop real quick. And you know how he says, make America great again? I want you to look at the fact that when it says, make America great again, look at all of the pictures. Look at the statue of the horse in the back. Look at the statue of the large coin. Look at all of the things in the background. That is what America is. That's what it was set up on. Is how did the white man become great in America? He had to destroy, pillage, decimate, enslave, rob, and cause genocide on this land for him to become great. And when you read in the Bible, you reap what you sow, and they have not reaped the benefits of their own slavery, destruction, and genocide. They shall reap. And there's not a nation on earth, not an army on earth that could touch the U.S. But the Lord going to raise up, and he's going to make all this stuff to happen. Now, go to the next one, because I got to get to McGregor. I forgot all about McGregor. Brazil. We're gonna fly through this article, Solomon.
Oh, we've been watching McGregor too, Cap. While we was out, we was keeping up.
Douglas McGregor is, for all intents and purposes, he was part of the Trump administration before he was on one of the teams. He will never, ever be allowed to say anything on a political platform, because he does one thing that it's a no-no. He tells the truth about Netanyahu and the Israelis. And you're going to find right now, as tough as Trump talks and as much bread as he has and all his buddies, he has no power compared to the Israeli lobbyists that run this government. We're going to show you that in a minute. Play that. Read that.
Brazil's Lula says any U.S. tariffs would be reciprocated. The Brazilian leader says he is looking for a relationship based on mutual respect after Trump threatens tariffs.
So I want you to understand something. Why is it that Brazil President Lula is saying this about a U.S. tariff? Remember, Brazil is the B in BRICS. The reason why they're able to stand and say this is because now with the 10 official members and the now other partners, Brazil represents almost 41% of the world's GDP. So what does that mean? They've got back. They've got economic and trade partners at their back. This, I'm telling you, BRICS is in the background. Oh, this is from today. This is today's article. So y'all read that on your own. Okay? In other words, Brazil said, okay, you want to put tariffs on us? We will reciprocate that and put tariffs on you. Okay?
So while Trump is at home gearing up war with his own citizens, the rest of the world is preparing for war with Babylon.
They're preparing for war. Now, McGregor is going to say the same thing. Pull up that last number 9. This is heavy. Okay. So this is an East Indian economist, I believe. No, he's an Asian guy. He's going to explain what Trump really is indirectly doing, and he actually explains it brilliantly. It's called The Idiot's Guide to Trump's Tariffs.
An idiot's guide? Because as painfully obvious as it is, some people just don't get it or refuse to.
Can they hear that online at home?
Let's start with U.S. President Donald Trump addressing the World Economic Forum in Davos.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially.
Everything is an absolute. Like if Trump was making biscuits, I make the best biscuits on earth. My flour, it rises higher than anyone's. Higher, it rises higher, better than yours. I'm telling you, he talked that junk because he has the most powerful military, and guess what? He got the juice. Trump has the juice. It's funny, but hey, the white man. This is a white man who knows his worth. He knows his power.
He got so much juice that he's orange.
Yes. He looks like a giant orange. Play that.
Even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury.
While Trump brandishes the threat of tariffs like a bull with a bazooka in a china shop, nobody dares correct him on how they actually work. No, he will not be raking it in from the countries he slaps his tariffs on. That's just not how it works. School children should know this, let alone the ruler of the most powerful empire in human history. I suppose it's up to the child now to point out the emperor's nudity.
Yeah, what did he say? He said, play it again, because what is he said is scriptural. Because this is why when you read about in Jeremiah 50, when you read about Isaiah chapter 14, Babylon the Great, that is the United States of America. Babylon back in the time of Iraq, ancient Iraq, was not the greatest empire ever. This United States of America is the greatest empire that's ever was or ever will be on this side. Now, he says that. He says just that. This is not an Edomite. Play it again.
School children should know this, let alone the ruler of the most powerful empire in human history. I suppose it's up to the child now to point out the emperor's nudity. Let's break it down in the simplest possible terms, taking tariffs aimed at China as the example. Americans depend heavily on all kinds of products from China. Smartphones, digital automation systems, toys, media transmission systems, lithium batteries, display monitors, computer parts, and plastic goods, to name but a few. Any tariffs on these Chinese goods will be paid by the American companies importing them, not the Chinese companies sending them across. None of the Chinese exporters shipping these staples out of their country will pay a red cent more. It's the American importers who will pay the tariffs for the goods at the port of entry, and they will pass on the cost to American retailers, who in turn will have to raise prices for American consumers. So yes, Trump may well earn some revenue for the Treasury from his tariffs, but effectively by taxing Americans. Ultimately shutting Chinese companies out by slapping tariffs on their goods that U.S. importers can't afford will require other trade partners to fill the void. But replacing China as the source will be no piece of cake, especially when Trump is threatening everyone else and their mums with similar tariffs. Of course, China will be hurt as well, which is America's desired intention. China will have to retaliate with tit-for-tat tariffs on U.S. imports in a lose-lose escalation of what has been a relatively manageable low...
So I just want you to understand, like Captain Matthew mentioned, is that it's going to get to the point where China has such a dominant... All you got to do is, we mentioned it before. So when y'all go and look at half the things in your closet, half the things that you own, and actually do a diligent search and look at the tags. It may not be made, maybe it was assembled in China, maybe it was made in most likely an Asian country. And when you put tariffs on the products that we depend on, two things are going to happen. Either the retailers that have to buy it will continue to buy it, and the tariff will, and we are going to pay more. I don't know if y'all paying attention. Gas went up like 25 cents since 24 hours. Yep. I think I paid $2.50, one or two. Right now it's $2.75. Forget. Anybody else see that?
Yes, sir.
This is yesterday. So guess what? This is these tariffs and what Trump is doing. Be very mindful, okay? And God is behind all of this. Now, yes, Maker, we're gonna close this out. I got a timestamp. We should be right on time. Now, the first timestamp, McGregor is going to talk about something to do with how and why Donald Trump actually got elected. Do me a favor. Pull up, is it OPEC or APEC? Pull up APEC, because and give me Jeremiah 51 about the least of the flock. There's a reason why we meaning black people in America, think that the popular vote and the college electoral is what really pulled, and we went to voting, and Trump really won. And okay, and there was probably a lot more people that liked Trump. Watch this.
You ready?
Yes, read that, please.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Tmh'S.
That's the least of the flock?
Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall take their habitations desolate with them.
So the least of the flock is talking about the Israelis. They are going to draw who out? They're going to draw the United States of America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, out to a World War III, the Valley of Megiddo. Now, McGregor is going to say that in the third timestamp. But now listen to this. Hold APAC. Listen to the first timestamp from Douglas McGregor.
Relationship to Prime Minister Netanyahu, which indeed would be a bizarre signal in light of that clip he ran of Professor Sachs being so harshly critical of the Israeli Prime Minister.
I think President Trump is torn. Frankly, I think he has a set of instincts that tell him to do one thing, and he has political interests on the other hand that tell him to do something else. No one that has had to work with Netanyahu for more than a few minutes has ever liked the man. I mean, let's face it, he's not someone who's warm and fuzzy to deal with. But right now, Netanyahu is in the driver's seat because without enormous support from Mr. Netanyahu's agents in the United States, who are very, very wealthy.
He said, Mr. Trump, without Netanyahu's enormous support from his agents in the United States. Now, pull up APEC. These are Israeli lobbyists that help members of the Senate, House of Representatives, Congress, all of the political, both sides of the House, by the way, Democratic and Republican, to become very wealthy. Okay? They run through monetary purchase the U.S. government. Okay, read that.
The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, is a pro-Israel lobbying group that advocates its policies to the legislative and executive branches of the United States.
The legislative and executive branches of the United States. Read on. And let's just put that in. Can you imagine if there was an AIPAC version of, let's see, I don't know, Russia? They wouldn't allow it to happen. So why, just to show you that they work together, how is another country, Israel, how are they able to lobby the United States of America at the executive level? That doesn't even make, that's like saying that we would allow, that Russia would allow, let's say, for example, I don't know, France to have a lobby in the Russian government. That doesn't sound like China will allow Switzerland to have a lobby inside the Chinese government. That makes no sense. It shows you that God is allowing all this to happen.
Hey,
Esau is together.
Hey, Cap, I was just reading that, and it really struck me. The legislative and executive branches of the United States government, that's who they have influence over.
Mm-hmm.
You said it earlier. The president is the executive branch.
That's right.
The president. He has no choice. Remember how back in, I'd say about 12, 15, 20 years ago, everybody was looking at those conspiracy theories. And they said, oh, yeah, when the president gets into the office, he's visited by men in suits and they control him and tell him what to do. Well, now we have a name for those people. AIPAC.
We need to realize that the Most High is using all these men, harden their hearts to do his will. Finish that timestamp.
One, and also, too, real quick, Cap.
Bring it out.
You saw that stamp? The star, right? That was for the AIPAC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That shows the Star of David.
Nah, Star Molech.
Yeah, well,
right.
As
their version
Amalek.
of David, the white David that is, their version, but the black David, the lineage of Christ, we don't represent that star.
Right.
Finish that timestamp, or we got to finish up.
Seriously, that President Trump would be in the White House. And I'm sure President Trump knows that. So a certain amount of this is unavoidable, is seen as an obligation by President Trump. Now, how long will this last? I don't know. I think he's the sort of person that when he is confronted with the reality in unambiguous terms, will do what he thinks is right. But he may not yet have been confronted with that. We don't know.
I'm going to.
Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to, y'all check out Douglas McGregor on your own. Do me a favor. Go to 8:16. We're going to skip the second timestamp because it's getting late. Go to 8:16 to 10:06. Now, he's going to change gears and start to talk about war, inevitable war in the Middle East. And he's going to mention Egypt, and he's going to mention the greater region. Pay attention, because just because Trump got in office, you think everything is going to be cooled down and iced over. No, it's not. No, it's not. Watch this. And it shows you how Esau sees all of the Arabs. Listen to this.
Al-Sisi and King Abdullah to say to President Trump when he says, I need you each to take 750,000 Palestinians.
Well, that's not going to happen because...
let me context this real quick. So what the plan is for Israel, what they want to do is take the Gaza Strip, level it, build new real estate so they can redirect, blow up the existing Suez Canal. They want to build their own Suez Canal that goes through the Gaza Strip, which technically is still Israel. That's their plan. So he's saying, well, remember there's 1.5 million people in Gaza. Take 3/4 of that, which is half of that 1.5 million, and give them to Egypt. And the other 3/4, you give them to Jordan, the country. That's the context what he's talking about. So now he's going to mention Egypt. And he's going to talk about how Egypt would look amongst all of the Arab nations. Remember, because Trump's talking about, listen, Trump's like, look, it's one of the greatest lands. It's perfect beachfront property. He said, we got to get it cleaned up. We got to rebuild. And he's going to do whatever Netanyahu says. It's unfortunate. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep.
Now, listen to what he says.
Will be seen as cooperating with us and the Israelis to liquidate the Palestinian problem. You liquidate it by removing the population, either killing it or driving it out, and eliminating the infrastructure. And that's what they would be accused of doing. So General Sisi, or President Sisi, is under no illusions about that. He would be gone in an instant. Right now, the Egyptian military is preparing in the Sinai for what they think will be a war with Israel. I can't imagine what King Abdullah in Jordan is doing. That place is barely afloat, and that would collapse almost overnight if he admitted more Palestinians to Jordan.
Why would the Israelis and the Egyptians have a war? What would it be over?
Well, I think the Egyptians look at the Greater Israel Project, look at the map, and the map stretches all the way to the Nile. And the Israeli
so when
view
you look at the lower Nile. The lower Nile is at actually the northern part of Egypt. It's actually backwards, as you recall. So that is when they say they'll say from the river to the sea, but part of the older maps that they draw from has it going down to the Nile Delta, which is the lower Nile, and Egypt knows that. And guess what? Gaza is right next to Egypt. It's literally shares the border with Egypt. So this is what he's saying. He said the President Sisi or General Sisi is going to have to fight at one point against Israel. Now, thank you for the map. So you see the Suez Canal, you see Egypt, right? The Red Sea, Israel is right there. And as a result of that, look at that. Gaza's that little strip right there, right next to Egypt. So now, all of that, that's Sinai, the Sinai Peninsula. That's the Red Sea. If you look at that other, it's a much easier track to get to the Suez Canal, but they want to dig another canal going straight up, and guess what's the easiest point of exit to the Mediterranean? Is right through Gaza. That's the short. These are some manipulating bastards right here. And that's what they're planning to do. So Egypt, guess what? If you do that, why would you need the Suez Canal at that point if Egypt had their own? Egypt's starting to think, wait a minute, you trying to tell me you want to send 750,000 Arabs, my brothers, who you displaced, and now send them to Egypt to live? I'm telling you, the whole Arab community will be up in arms, okay? Because Egypt, they're not black people that rule Egypt. It's Arabs that run the whole damn country, okay? Play on.
is no different from their view of the Arabs in Gaza or anywhere else in the region. And remember that Sisi, as well as...
Real quick, he said something heavy. We're going to close with this. He said the Israelis' view of the Arabs in Egypt is no different than their view of the Arabs in Palestine, because the white man sees them all. When I was at work at the casino, they had a term for Arabs. They called them sand niggers. They used to write that and used to say it amongst their breath. They have a disdain for Arabs. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, yes, ragged, they don't care about them. If you're a Palestinian, a raghead, if you're a doggone Jordanian, they don't care. The only reason why they're polite with the Saudi Arabians, because the Saudi Arabians, they've made one another rich. They've made the Saudi Arabians trillionaires. And as a result, they made the U.S. very, very wealthy with the petrodollar there. Anyways, y'all check that out on your own time. A lot's going on. It's the first 10 days of Donald Trump. By next week, you are going to see even more and more happen. Y'all watch the news, watch different sources. Keep your eyes on what's going on internationally, and get yourselves prepared spiritually, mentally, and economically. You stop buying brand new stuff. Stop getting these new cars. Stop trying to do this and my house is that. If the house is big enough, pay it off. Stay in it. Save your money. Get assets. Don't have liabilities. Live below your means so when things happen, you have some resources. Things are going to get very hard for us here. Take it how you want to take it. Bishop's been teaching classes for months. So with that, Israel, stand by for Law Back Attack. Shalom.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition of Law Back Attack. It's been a while. We're back to our schedule, Watchman Report. We're going to have a new segment with Officer Yassa before break. Then we go break, Kingdom Music, and now Law Back Attack. Check it out. I want to start something a little bit funny tonight because just like this is not going to look natural at all to see an animal that's that fat. The dogs are, what's wrong with this cat? It does not look natural when a lot of you brothers and sisters who are obese and morbidly obese, it is not natural. You have to fix it. Let's laugh a little bit. Watch this.
Oh. Blue! No. No, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't be doing that to Harvey.
Rewind it. Yeah. Listen. This cat is so fat. He's trying to fight him on his back. Cats are the ferocious fighters on their backs. Play it again.
Oh. Blue! No. No, sir. Hey, you can't be doing that to Harvey.
He's trying to roll over.
He can't roll over.
Look how fat that cat is. Y'all, listen. So, next video is, what is the fat man's problem? I'm going to tell you something. They had it right. Some of these doctors in the 60s and 50s had it right.
Some are born slim and stay that way. Others, sooner or later, have fatness thrust upon them and try everything they know to shed it. Millions nowadays want to get back their youthful lines, of which they're reminded on every beach. To be slim again, countless women are dieting, exercising, and worrying. Every paper and magazine you pick up tells how to do it. Here's the revolutionary advice of Dr. McCartney.
Doctor, eat fat and grow slim. That's a new theory, isn't it?
Yes, it's new now, today, but it wasn't new in history. In the days when we had no agriculture and there was no starch in our food, no potatoes, no bread, no cereals, everybody had to live by hunting on meat and fat, and in those days, I believe that they were all slim.
What he's talking about is the agricultural revolution, when you now could raise crops and other sedentary food styles. Check this out. That's what healthy keto is. Going back to things that you forage for, it would grow and eat meat, fat, and things you would find like eggs. That is what heals people. And he's telling you, okay, but all of these high carbs, all these rice and beans, cookies, cakes, pies, and these quick fixes that you get, they're not healthy for you. Okay? Our bodies are not designed to eat those types of foods multiple times a day. That's why most of you are insulin resistant and you are pre-diabetic or you have diabetes too, because eating like this. You can fix it. Everybody can fix it. Okay, play on.
And now, if we stop eating these new foods, so-called, then we will get our weight down back to normal.
Well, Doctor, what's the answer to the fat man's problem?
Well, his answer is to stop eating starch and sugar and eat everything else as much as he likes, and he'll still get slim. But it will not make him more slim than he should be.
Okay. Get the next one. Y'all stand by. Give me the camel one. That's funny as hell. I forgot about the camel one. So, again, animals have a sense. Animals know when something camels, their whole job is to haul people like a horse. They haul people around. So this camel right here, this may be an Arab lardback. And listen, the Arab lardback is using a concrete block. Damn, that engineering is powerful. They used a great PSI because that held up a lot of weight. Look at that camel. Look at that Arab lardbackian. Watch this. Damn, he can't even get. Look at the camel fighting to get up. Look at it. That's a big lardback. Damn. He makes Sabaris look like a ballerina. God damn. Okay, enough. Leave that camel alone, man. Damn, they had to get the skinny camel. That's horrible. All right, last one. All right. Was that the last one? Yes, get that one. So this is important because, again, I tell brothers all the time and sisters all the time, there's two things you have to master to lose weight. And by losing weight is one of the benefits you're going to get. You cannot eat that often and frequently. Number two, cut the freaking carbohydrates. Lose the weight, get reverse diabetes 2, pre-diabetes. Then when you get to metabolic health restoration, then you can go and reintroduce healthy carbs like a sweet potato at that point, like some legumes, okay? Like some wild rice or brown rice. Those are carbohydrates that are more natural form. You have to get rid of your problem first. You're addicted to sugar. You're addicted to carbohydrates. Play.
Believed as a lifelong rancher that fat caused heart disease and fat caused plaque in the arteries and fat caused high LDL, and it was bad for you. So we just started researching and found out that it was all a lie.
Our entire war on saturated fat in this country, which has dominated the health care advice that we get from our doctors, has been wrong.
In 1911, there wasn't a recorded case of heart disease in America.
Pause. Rewind that.
There wasn't a recorded case of heart disease in America. Not one.
So, over 114 years ago, now there may be a couple of undocumented, but the monstrosity of an epidemic known as heart disease, which, by the way, is the number one killer of black men in America right now, 114 years ago, it was not an issue. Why? Because we weren't eating the foods that we were eating and eating it that often. Now, watch this. This video is very alarming. Play on.
And Gamble decided that cottonseed oil that was only used for machines like oil, regular motor oil, they whipped it up and made Crisco out of it. Then the heart disease rate in America just started going through the roof. 1955, Eisenhower has his heart attack. The whole country was in full panic mode. A guy named Ansel Keys at the University of Minnesota comes up with the heart health hypothesis. And he studied 7 countries all over the world that the higher the intake of saturated fat was, your increase of heart disease went up. I mean, it was a perfect 45-degree line. So he takes it to the American Heart Association. Of course, they blessed it and said this is fantastic, and it was over. 1961, they come out with their first dietary guidelines. Well, then they released the full data. There was 22 countries in that study, and the dots were everywhere. There was zero correlation to saturated fat heart disease.
So they misskewed the studies to create an industry, because during the Industrial Revolution, the seed oils were used to run machinery. And they had surpluses of those oils, and they had a huge market, but nothing to run. So they had to put it in our diets, which is making us sick. And then they changed the food pyramid to have more grains and carbohydrates and sugars. That's why the things that are at the top of the pyramid are actually better for you. And that's what you're supposed to eat less of. This is why when you eat a low carbohydrate, healthy keto diet, it has been known to cure. It is the diet chosen to help heal epilepsy. Okay, it is a diet that has helped to heal people with patients of dementia, which is also called diabetes 3. Because when you run off of ketones and shift from glucose, it is better for your neurological pathways. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I studied enough of them to know, and I've helped dozens and dozens and dozens of brothers realize how powerful they are to lose a whole lot of weight. And all I'm just doing is repeating the things that we all should be saying. And this is what's going to happen in IUIC. Every single one of you ranked men, by 2025, you better get into the green. It is going to be a problem. And this is a threat. It's a promise, but we should all be running to get there. We got a lot of prominent men that have already went from the red to the green. Many more have gone from the yellow to the green, and some have made it all the way from the red to the yellow, and they're striving. So we're going to all come together. We're going to move the men forward, and then the sisters going to follow. We have to put away this saturated crap, this fried food, all the sugar. We got to go back to the ways that work. Less frequently, meats are fine, vegetable, eggs, whole foods. This is what we need to have. And you lard asses don't need bananas. You don't need nothing. No sugar. You don't need not even apple sugar. You don't need none of that. So get that. Finish that and we're done. That was it in the video. Give me one scripture. Give me Sirach 30, verse 25. This is everybody that is unhealthy. You should challenge yourself with this scripture. Read, and we're done.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 25. A cheerful and a good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
A cheerful and a good heart. What is a good heart? A good heart is one that strives to keep the commandments of God as an Israelite. If you have a good heart, you are going to read it again.
The book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse, chapter 30 and verse 25.
Yeah, that's it.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat.
A care. You have to care. Oh, shoot. I'm 6 foot. I weigh 267 pounds. I'm not doing right. I should weigh 195. I should weigh 203. I have to care that I'm out of order medically. Well, how do I fix that? If I have a good heart, what do? Well, number one, let me get with some men who have done it before. Let me find some brothers that have actually lost 100 pounds. Let me talk to them. What did you guys do? Now, once I get the formula, I have to apply it. And the scriptures, we go over it all the time. Sirach 31, verse 15 on down. Sirach 38, verse 1 through 4. We go Deuteronomy chapter 14, Leviticus chapter 11, the whole dietary laws. There's law and precept that connect to another precept to teach you. Now, you shouldn't, Bishop brought out on the men's conference. Meat is fine. You can have meat. But eating all meat, too much meat, is not good. Okay? With that, brothers and sisters, we right out on about 2 hours. We appreciate you staying with us. My name is Captain Shem, and that's the Larback Attack. Shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth.
Yeah. Hey, Shalom, I'm sorry. It's the Most High in Christ Plus. Welcome back. We appreciate y'all. Look, and Captain Matt, if you could point to the donate. There it is. Listen, y'all hear what the bishop is talking about. We are not only are we trying to get land, okay, we got the land blitz coming up, we're also trying to get to all of these countries throughout the planet Earth. And this is why our own Captain Matthew and Officer Micah were months away thanks to the Booster Club. That's the way. So we have men in this room. Okay, we got trips coming up. We got trips coming up down the road. The Booster Club is going to help us to get to our people. So we give an all praise to the Most High. Thank you, all you brothers and sisters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some of you live 3 hours. You live outside of a school, and you faithfully send your alms because you believe. You watch online, and you are participating and helping to move the prophets of IUIC to the places where God needs them to be. So we thank you very much, all right? With that, we get ready to close out. We're precept upon precept. Share the link. Share our YouTube page. Help us to get to 30K. And with that, we say shalom.
There's a special place that I like to go, but nobody's home. To increase my understanding, my daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line. Precept on precept, line upon line. I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing, wasn't nothing gonna change.